Hey Jennifer, how are you? It's my trash. Get that out of the way. Okay. I'm just waiting to see if a few more people will be joining. Hey Jan. I'm doing good, Jennifer. Thank you. I have this horrible little setup situation going on right now that I'm trying to fix. But other than that, I'm doing all right. Okay, maybe that'll be better. All right, so I guess for the replay, whoever's watching the replay, you might want to fast forward. But what this live is we're continuing our mini album tutorial. So I'll get into that in just a moment here. And I apologize, I was supposed to do it Thursday night, but I wasn't feeling too well, so I had to move it up a little bit, or move it out rather. Oh, it's your Saturday Night Live. Dang it, Jan. I thought that was at 7 Central. I was hoping to get done before yours. I'm sorry, Jan. Well, everyone will probably be on yours. I'm going to go ahead and get started then. I thought Jan was going live at 7, but I think she might be going live earlier. But that's okay. All right, so we'll get started here, and that way, you know, if people need to, they can watch the replay. So, let me see what I got going on. I have my little project box going on here. Oh, okay, Jan. Okay, gotcha, hon. Sorry about that. I don't know how long mine will be going, but we'll get started. Where's my album? Give me a second. Thought I had everything. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is I'm just grabbing my stuff that I need right now, because what we're going to be doing today is just real quick covering the inside of the album. We're going to go ahead and make our hinge. That's exciting. And I've got all the interactions organized so that we can start putting the interactions in on each page. So, there we go. Oh yeah, Jan. No, I know. There's a replay. So, and I really just want to get there because I know some of you guys some people are following along, which is so nice on this tutorial. So, oh, by the way, look how cute this is. A long time ago, okay? Like a long time ago, I was thinking I'm going to do a craft show. And I made tons of these little, you just buy the, what are these called? Like the little mini legal pads. And you make this and you make a little pop out for the pen. Aren't they cute though? I made a ton of them. So I might as well start using them. But, okay. So here we go. So here is, as a reminder, last time we put together we covered our chipboard. And the size of our chipboard is 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 for the front and back. And then the spine is 3 inches by 6 3/4. So right now what we're going to do is just cover the inside, and I'll show you how I like to do that. So I know that I'm going to cut this paper to be 6 3/4, right? And it's 11 inches long, and I need it to be just a little bit longer than that. So I'll actually have 2 pieces and connect them together here. So let me go ahead and cut these at 6 3/4. Send them in friend mail. Honey, I don't know what you're talking about, Jan. Did I miss something? Oh, that's going to drive me nuts. Into that. Okay. So I'm going to cut this at 6 3/4 and leave it at 11, which I just did 7 3/4. Let me do that again. And I just threw that. Okay. And then I'm going to cut another one at 6 3/4. I'm going to measure and see how much more I have to cut off of that one instead of leaving it at 11. So this one's going to go right here. Like that. And let me see. So I'm going to need 6 inches. So I'm actually going to do like 6 1/2 because I got to connect the two there, those two pieces. Oh, Jan, what a great idea. Because guess what? I have all kinds of other things that I made for this craft show I never did. What a great idea. I will do that. You always have good ideas, Jan. Is it just me, or does everybody on these trimmers have to really think about where the 1/2 inch mark is on the 6? Sometimes it's hard. Okay, yep, that's how we're going to do it. Jennifer, if you're still there, what are you working on? Now I have to locate my score tape. I have a new one. Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. Okay. I know, Jan, you do have to guess. It's annoying, isn't it? Fiskars could have done a better job with that, honestly. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lay a piece of score tape right on here, and then I'm going to attach this piece. That's all I'm doing right here. So let me just lay a piece down. Okay. Boy, I didn't get all my tools out, did I? Where? I might as well just grab them now. I wasn't prepared. There we go. Hi, how are you? Smile is the new color. Okay, I'm just going to burnish this down real quick. And then what I'm going to do, and I just want to make sure I'm in frame here. So if I get off frame, you guys just holler at me. Let me know. Okay, so I'm going to remove this score tape backing. And I'm going to do the best actually, you want to do as good as you can to line this up, because this is perfectly matched from bottom to top, if that makes sense. So you don't want it overlaying. So I'm going to actually move the mini album chipboard for just a second so I can make sure and line this up good. Just going to use my, little line grid here on the mat. And hope my head doesn't get in the way, but it might. And I want to go about a 1/2 inch in, okay. Because with score tape, it's a lot harder if you lay it down wrong, getting it back up. Let me make sure I'm doing the right 6 1/2. So this is my 6 1/3. Okay, so that's right. Sorry, I just want to make sure I have my paper the right way. Okay, it's not perfect, but I think it'll work. You just finished your craft class. That's cool. Where was that at? Was it something local in your area? Okay, so as you can see, what I like to do is I don't just cover the chipboard because I don't want all these seams where we did the corners. I go right up exactly. It's hard to see with white, but I go all the way up to the very edge, top, bottom, and the sides, okay? And that is how I will lay it down. Let me just make sure my measurements are good and that I'm not a little off or anything on the ends here. Yeah, they're good. All right, so what I do, I use wet glue for this part, but you do host it at once a month at your house. Well, I wish I could come. Dang it. Where do you live? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you don't live where I live, but. All right, so I just use wet glue on this part. Pretty generous amount here. I want to make sure and get all the corners really well. And I know it's a long piece of paper, so it's kind of a little bit of a pain. And that's a really horrible sound, but I got to get this glue laid down real quick here before it dries. And I can always lift up and add glue once I lay it down if I need more. So we'll just take this. And you're probably going to see me, sorry, because I look terrible right now. Whoops. And I run my finger across the top to make sure I'm staying even. I don't want it to get all wonky on me. And it did a little bit over here, so I'm gonna, that I don't like. I gotta fix that. I think I didn't cut it perfect. So, but it's okay though. It's not horrible. We're gonna go with it. So then what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and burnish it down really well. And I'm also gonna add a little bit more glue on the corners and sides in here in just a minute. Oh, hi, Sassy. Yeah, I'm glad you made it too. And where we have our, and Sassy, I'm just covering the inside of the chipboard mini cover and spine. And so you can always, you know, watch that replay. It's pretty easy and straightforward. I didn't cut perfectly, but it'll have to do. So I'm going to burnish, and you really want to burnish carefully. You don't want to rip your paper, but along between the spine and the cover, again, like we did before. And just move your cover up like this. And remember, we had that tape down there, so this paper is also adhering to that. Because you want your book to be able to move nicely, your covers. I can tell I need a little bit more glue, so what I'm going to do, and you can use score tape, whatever you guys like. I prefer for this piece to use wet glue to lay this paper down. See, I have quite a bit here I didn't have enough glue on it, so that's okay. I just go right back in. And lay some more in there. So this does take, you know, a few minutes to really get this paper covering the inside. And then we'll move on to the hinge. And then I'm so excited to show you the interactions. I've already planned them all out, which I typically don't do. But I did for you guys because, you know, I should be organized with this. And they're going to be fun. They're going to be fun. So, I know I'm a little off camera. I'm just still putting some glue on areas I think might need it. So, I think we're pretty good. All right, I'm going to burnish again, especially up here where I added more glue. Just really, really, really burnish it down well. Okay, and as you can see, our cover is complete. So, you know, a friend of mine mentioned, and I guess I never really noticed this, and it's going to be really hard for you to see. But okay, I've got the chipboard with the score tape on it, and then we covered it, remember, last time? You can kind of see ridges, not, though it's still smooth, but you can kind of see very, very faint lines like where the score tape is. It's not a big deal. I mean, you'd really have to look at it. But not only that, we're going to cover this and decorate. You know, we're going to put design paper and decorate. When it's all said and done, you would never see that. So I just wanted to bring that up. Well, hi. I'm sorry. And if I can't read your name right, you guys, listen to this. My iPad, which is what I'm looking at for the chat, oh my God, it's bad. I dropped it again and the whole screen is like shattered. So if I can't make out your words on the chat, just forgive me. It's because my stupid screen's shattered and I got to get it fixed. But I think that's, is it Charisse Crafty World? Hello? Oh, the oxide ink. Can I explain the oxide ink to you? Sure. And you live in Missouri. Well, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm not too far from you, I guess. Um, oh, Cheryl. I'm sorry. Okay, Cheryl. Okay, yeah. The oxide ink. Oh, why was I using that? I know that looks funny. When I lay score tape down, you could use an acrylic block, anything like that. For me, it just, when you line up the score tape and you rip the score tape on this edge, it makes it a straight rip. I think that's what you're asking. And so it's just easier for me than pulling a pair of scissors out and cutting it. That's all that is. If I didn't answer your question, let me know and I'll get back to whatever it is. But you could use an acrylic block. You can use your scissors. It just seems to me using my scissors takes longer. So I just picked that up. All right, so look at that. Yay, it's done. So now we're going to move on to the hinge. Here is how we figure out the hinge, at least how I do. So I have a 3-inch spine and I have 5 pages, okay? And more importantly, the height is 6 3/4, okay? So the way that I figure it out is I don't want the height of my hinge. I do not want it to be 6 3/4. I want it to be shorter. And the reason why is because remember our pages, the base pages we made, they're a 1/2 inch smaller than this cover. So they're only 6 1/4 inches high. If I had 6 3/4 inches, they wouldn't fit on the hinge. So what I do, sorry, I gotta take a drink of tea. What I do is I could make the height 6 1/4 for the hinge, but I might go down to 1/8, 6 1/8 maybe. Oh, okay, let me get back to the question. Smiles the New Color is asking oxide ink, what is the difference? Honey, let me tell you, you get some oxides and you'll never go back to Distress ink. I know they're both by Tim Holtz, but the oxide is a blend of pigment and dye. And so it blends beautifully, you know, especially if you're doing mixed media or anything like that. It's just a nicer ink because it's made up of both pigment and dye, where the Distress ink, I believe, is only dye that's in that. I might be backwards on it, but anyway, that's the difference. And I still like my Distress inks. Don't get me wrong, that was kind of a bad comment, but once I got some oxides, I mean, I do like them a lot better. I got to be honest, and I think they're the same price at most places. I'm not real sure. Okay, so back to our hinge. So what I'm gonna do on I'm using an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Okay, that's important. I mean, you could use 12 by 12, but I'm not cutting it on the 11-inch side. This is what's important. Cut it on the 8.5-inch side because we need this length for scoring for our hinges. So I'm going to cut it at 6 1/4 because that actually I'm going to do about 6 1/8 because our base pages are 6 1/4. I want it to be just slightly smaller. Okay. And before we go into scoring the hinge, I'm going to draw a little picture because I think it'll help. Oh, thanks for answering her question because you're right. Yeah, You could probably explain it better, but yeah, does get it a nice, the oxides do give a nice watercolor effect, and they activate when you spray it with water. Yep, that's perfect. Thank you for helping out with that question. Okay, I want to draw you a picture. I suppose I could do it on this little scrap here, but so now I want to talk about the hinge, okay? Kathy Orta King is the one who came up with the hidden hinge system, and Lori, gosh, I can't think of the other woman that came up with Stack the Deck. I'm going to use the hidden hinge. There's also now a hidden hinge plus, which I don't even know how to do. I've never learned that one, and that is through Kathy Orta King. So if you're interested, you can go to her channel, and she has the hidden hinge plus. You do need a license for it if you're going to do tutoring or anything, or selling your items with it. Yeah, you use them for really good backgrounds, not distressing. Good point. Okay, so the hidden hinge, not the plus, is what I use, and it is Kathy Orta King's. She's the one who came up with it, but you do not, she doesn't have it patented like she does the plus. So I am allowed to show you, and I got to make this really, really clear, because honestly, when she patented the plus, I had some questions for her, and just to be honest, it didn't go well between her and I. So we're not really the same type of people. So anyway, enough about that. I am allowed to teach this because it's the hidden hinge and not the plus. Okay, so we have 5 pages, remember, right? In the one that we're making, okay? So here's how it's going to work. We're going to have a half inch. This will be clearer once I draw the picture, so just bear with me. Let me draw it and then I'll explain it. And, I mean, you guys may know, but I am doing this also for the replay because I know I have some people that are brand new that are needing to learn this. So you're going to have a half inch up and a half inch down. That's called the hinge, okay? These pointy pieces are the hinge. They're all going to be 1/2, 1/2. So basically, they're going to be 1 inch. This, in between each hinge, is called a gusset. I don't know if there's 2 T's or 1 T, but whatever. In this tutorial, I'm doing a 1/2 inch gusset, okay? So, if I add all these up, I've got 1 inch here, a 1/2 inch here, 1 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1 inch here. I know this looks sloppy, but 1/2 inch here, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, okay? So just for the 5 pages, we're going to need, the 5 inches for the 5 pages, and then we'll need 2 more inches for the gussets. So just for that, we're going to need 7 inches, okay? Now, some people, that's what they do. They make their hinge system, and they keep it at that, and they plop it right into the book, which is perfectly fine. It's a personal choice. But for me, I prefer to have what I call a little bit of a flap on each side of my hinge system. I just feel like it weighs it down more. It's just how I like to do it. So that's what I'm going to show you. You don't have to have this flat part. Okay, because I'm working with 11 inches, I know that I have 4 more inches on my 11-inch piece of paper. So I'm going to make this flap 2 inches and this flap 2 inches, okay? So therefore, and I hope that makes sense, there are a ton of tutorials on how to do this. So there might be some that explain it much better than me. But, so for mine, I know the height, I'm only doing 6 1/8 because remember, base pages are 6 1/4. And for the length, I'm doing 11 inches. The 7 inches for the pages and the gussets, and then 2 inches on either side. That all adds up to 11, okay? So here's how we score it. All right, so I'm going to line up now I already cut the paper to 6 1/4 by 11. 6 1/8. 6 1/8 by 11. Okay, put the 11-inch side at the top of your scoreboard, and the first score we're going to make is at 2 inches, okay? That's my little flap that I want, okay? And we're basically going to go every 1/2 inch until we get to 9, and we're going to score at 9 inches, and then the rest, the remaining 2 inches is the other side flap, because I'm doing, I'll show you. So this first 1/2 inch, which is 2.5 inches, and then at 3. These two together are going to form to a hinge. Then we'll score at 3.5. That'll be the gusset. Then we'll score at 4 and 4.5. Those two together are going to be page 2 hinge. Then we score at 5. That's the gusset. So on and so forth. So really all you have to do, if you're going to be doing 1/2 inch gussets, is score every 1/2 inch. That's what I like to do. Okay, and then when you get to 9, stop, because then we're left with 2 inches on the other side. So we have a little extra on either side. Okay? I hope that makes sense for everybody, and also on the replay. Okay. Somebody once asked me, they're new to making mini albums, and they were struggling, and they were trying to do 1/4 inch gussets. Personally, I don't recommend that. I don't think it's wide enough. You can do it. I just don't think it's wide enough. Now, this might be a little difficult to see. I'm going to do the best I can. So, as a matter of fact, there's no reason I can't write on this because it's going to be covered up. Okay? So, this first, this one and this one are for page 1. I'll show you how to put that together. Then this is going to be a gusset. Then this is page 2 hinge, gusset. Page 3 hinge, gusset. Page 4 hinge, gusset, and then page 5 hinge. Okay? So the way that, and again, there are a lot of tutorials. I'm probably not doing very well. So you basically are folding accordion style. The way that I do it, here's my 1 and here's my 1. So it's the second score mark. I will fold up like that. And then I'll fold back on the first score mark. Okay? And burnish it real well, and then I'll fold over on the third. So what happens is, you can see I have the hinge, and then this next part is my gusset, okay? So that's how I do my folding, but really, if you just do accordion, I believe it works out. So I move on to where the second page is going to be together, the hinge, and then I go back and forth accordion like that, to get my second hinge. And then there's the gusset in the middle. And that's what I do. I just move along doing that. Again, you may want to watch other tutorials. There's people that explain this really well. And you guys that are live, you've probably done this before. Oh, thank you for subbing to me. Oh no, to Cheryl's. Sassy, you're already subbed to me, I think. Okay, another gusset, so another page. I'll show you what this looks like as soon as I'm done. Let me just burnish real well here through these. Okay, so as you can see, these are the little peaks here, little mountains. Those are the hinges. And the G, where the G is, that's the gusset that's going to go in between our pages. So now what we need to do is we need to attach these two little pieces going up to make a page, or to make a hinge. We need to attach that so that they're together, okay? See how they can unfold? We want them to stay together. So what you do is you lay score tape. I do use score tape for this, not wet glue, but again, personal choice. Oh, I know you did. I'm sorry, I got confused, Sassy. Oh, the numbers? You mean, do you mean that I wrote in right here on my hinge thing? Oh, you bring up a good point. Well, I don't think I'll have a problem. I mean, the hinge will be covered. The gusset won't, but I'll just lay design paper or ribbon or something over it. Yeah. I did it for tutorial purposes, but I'm okay with it because I could put... You guys don't have to write this stuff down. This was just for me to show you. Strictly for tutorial purposes. And personally, when I do the album, I'll just put ribbon or something there, or a piece of design paper to cover it up. Or I could do it from the other side. Yeah, let's do that. Boy, see, this is why I should do every project live, because you guys are smart. Here we go. I'm going to do it that way. Wow. So smart. Thank you. Okay, let's see if I can get this right now. Okay, so hinge 1, gusset, hinge 2. Yeah, this is perfect. Awesome. Yeah, I was just doing that just to try to give you a reference, so. Oh, I screwed up over here. Hinge 1, gusset. Oh, I screwed it up. Gusset, hinge 2. I'm going to totally royally mess this up, aren't I? It's okay. I know where to line the tape up. All right. So now I'm going to connect my 2 pieces to make the hinge. Okay? So how do I want this? I got to think for, I can't do backwards. I'm getting confused. Yeah, I still want to do. Okay, so I'm going to lay it. Now, I'm using a 1/4 inch score tape. And remember, this is a 1/2 inch. You could use a 3/8. I wouldn't use half because I think that would be too covering up the score lines. So, but I'm just using a 1/4 inch, and I do not put it right at the score line at all. I just kind of go down the middle a little bit here. That's how I do it. So this first one is going to connect, and that's going to be our first hinge. Then we're going to have a gusset, and then we have to go to hinge 2. So basically, it's every 3rd one you're going to put your score tape on, okay? So if you had 6 pages, I mean, you can do as many pages as you want. You know, you just continue scoring. I hope that makes sense. And the last one. Okay, perfect. Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you? Man, it's got to be late over there. Okay, now I'm just going to connect these pieces to make our hinges. So we'll just do that real quick. Fold over, and there is hinge 1. Remove, fold over, hinge 2. Make sure I'm folding the right piece here. The 2 3s on each other. Hinge 3. And the last one. There we go. Okay, oops. All right, so now, and I got to burnish this, but you can see we got all 5 hinges, and they're together now with our gusset in between. And so I do like to burnish it down really well. And then the next step, what we're going to do is we are going to lay score tape on either side of the hinge. Okay, there's 5 pages, so 10 times, not in the gusset. And that's because that's how we'll attach our pages when we're done with our pages. 3 a.m. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so when I just wanted, these are just my tips on how I do things. So, but the way that, again, I'm using a 1/4 inch score tape, and the way that I lay them down is definitely, because my page is going to go on top, I want the score tape closer to the top of the hinge than the bottom. That's my personal preference, what has worked well for me. So middle or middle towards top, not down low. That's how I do it. And we need to do both sides of the hinge, not just one, okay? Oh, and please ignore my nails right now because they're a hot mess. I broke one and I know this is boring. Bear with me. We're going to get to the fun pretty soon. We're almost there to get to the interactions. And we probably won't get through every page of interactions because technically there's 10 plus the inside 2 covers. So there's really 12. But what I'll probably do is try to go live maybe again tomorrow for a little bit so that we can try to get through as much as we can. And then, of course, Thursday. That way it's out there for you guys to, sorry, I made a mistake there, to watch, you know, at your own leisure, where you can fast forward, pause, rewind, whatever. Okay. All right, last one. Okay, so one last step and then, well, a couple steps, but here we go. Let's burnish again really well. Really well. We want these hinges to be able to go back and forth very easily. Okay. And then what I do, actually, I'm going to pull a base page out. I don't think they're in that. I think I still have them in here. Give me a sec. In my project kit. These containers are kind of cool, actually, because they're called a scrapbook case. But what I do when I'm making mini albums, for example, I'll just put everything I'm working on for that particular album, which this doesn't belong, you know, but anyway, yeah, that's what I do, typically. I need to find my base pages, though. I thought I had them. I'm going to kind of freak out if I can't find those base pages. What in the heck did I... Oh, here these must be it. Let me look. Yeah, these are it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I had those out. You do, Sassy? Aren't they great, these containers? I love them. I wish I had more because I'm really bad about starting a lot of projects at once. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. What I do to make sure, now remember, this opening on the base page is 6 1/4, okay? Because it's going to go on the hinge. The hinge we made as 6 1/8, so it's a little bit smaller, but I always miter these corners anyway. So what I'm trying to do here is when I miter them, I go from the score line up at an angle, okay? I'm going to do it on either side of this first hinge. And I'm kind of testing to make sure that our page is going to go on there nicely before I miter the rest, because I might have to go at a deeper angle, if that makes sense. So let me see. I just like to, yep, it's perfect. It's going to work out just perfectly. So now that I know that that's good, I just kind of try to imitate the same mitering, but it doesn't really matter. We're good. We're absolutely good. So 1/8 of a difference, smaller, is probably a good rule of thumb to follow when making your hinge system. I'm going to have these little bits all over the place now. Okay, we got that one. Okay, so one last step for this is we're gonna, and again, I use score tape for this part. Everything else will be with my wet glue. I'm going to put score tape and wet glue around this so that I can get it put into my, my book. Okay? So, get this out of the way for a quick second. What did I do with my... I am all over the place today. Like, literally all over the dang place. Huh. What did I do with my score tape? Oh, well, I'll open up another one. I don't even know. I, like, really? I don't... My goodness gracious. It's okay. I usually have 2 or 3 of these things open at the same time anyway because I'm just always misplacing them. All right. So, with your paper flat, so bend your hinges down like they should fold. I just go around the border first. And again, this is just how I do it. But you just basically want to be able to adhere this to your book. I mean, everybody kind of has their own little methods or tips and stuff. So if you are brand new at making mini albums, I would suggest maybe watching some other people because you want to get, you know, well-rounded on what works for you, you know. I'm trying to think who I can tell you to go to. Obviously Kathy Orta, because she created this system, right? But I know LMS Crafty, her name's Lori, she's really good. And she's done it before where she has some where she shows how to make this same hidden hinge. Tammy Merrill from Country Craft Creations, she does a really good tutorial. So those are a few that you may want to check out. Almost done here, guys. This part's the boring part, isn't it? I can't wait to get to the interactions. They're so fun. Although I actually do enjoy constructing the book and everything. I really do. Couple more pieces. Oh, and by the way, I probably go overboard with score tape and glue, but, you know, that's just what I do. Oh, well, thanks, Sassy. That's really sweet of you. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Burnish, burnish, burnish this tape down so that it lifts up easily. Let's get our book ready. And I know, and I'm going to, when I pull this tape up, I'm also going to put some wet glue. The reason, there's 2 reasons I do that. 1, I think it makes it even stronger, but 2, when you put wet glue on top of the tape, you do have a moment to wiggle if you need to. Okay, so that's why I do it. And the way that I like to, now there's different ways to do this, but what I do, see, remember, the height of the book is 3 3/4. This is only 6 1/8. So I just kind of make sure I'm in between, that I'm in the middle of the spine, right? Because I don't want like all my pages over to one side. You want to be in the middle, and top and bottom I try to be in the middle also. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove, and then we'll just lay this down real quick. Gets so sticky. That's what we want. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna slap some glue on here. I'm going around my border really well. And then in between my score tape and on my score tape, just kind of all over with the glue. All right, now I'm ready to lay down. So here we go. I got to kind of look on top of it, so sorry if my head gets in the way. Again, I eyeball it. I mean, you certainly could measure it. I just kind of eyeball it. It's probably better if you do measure it. Okay, there we go. Now, you really want to burnish. And let me show you the key parts, okay? Where the spine and the cover meet, obviously we really need to burnish that again to get the fibers breaking so that we can bend our book, okay? But then also, your hinges, burnish them really well both ways, really well. I do it quite a lot, actually, both ways. And then what's really important, for this particular scoring tool or whatever this is, bone folder, I use the back end and I burnish down the the gusset. Really want to make sure that's adhered well, okay? Because this is, I guess, kind of the guts, right? The guts of your book. I know that's a gross thing to say, but it is. The workings, inner workings of your book. So we want it to be strong. Okay, I think that looks really good. I'm really happy with it. Now let me see if I can work this so that we can get this bent. Looks like it's bending good. Perfect. Yeah, good. No cracking, so that's good. There we go. Our book is done. All right, we're gonna set this aside and move on to some fun. Some fun. I'll set my book down here. I gotta take a drink real quick. All right. So, let me get these facing the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. All right, so the way that I did this is I went ahead, I am gonna need my scoreboard. I cut everything, but I got the measurements right here. We'll go through each page. I just haven't scored it. I just thought that would save some time so you don't have to watch me cutting paper, since I think we all know how to cut the paper. Now, what I want to show you, so we have 5 pages. This is how I'm going to identify them when we go through them, is this is page 1, A side, A, turn it over, page 1, B, page 2, A, turn it over, page 2, B, 3, A, so on and so forth. Okay, so here we go. Start with this one. This is page 1A, okay? So, and then there's B. Okay, so what we're gonna need for page 1A is we're gonna need a piece that is 7 1/4 by 3 inches. We're gonna score on the 7 1/4 side at a 1/2 inch and at 6 3/4. And then we're gonna rotate and score on the 3 inch side at 1/2. So let's do that scoring right now. So again, that's those measurements. So on the 7 1/4 inch side, we're gonna score, we're making a pocket basically. So we're gonna score at 1/2 and 6 3/4. Rotate it 90 degrees so that the 3 inch side is facing up, or facing the top of the scoreboard, and score at a 1/2 inch, okay? That's the first piece for 1A. The second piece for 1A is 6 1/4 by 6 3/4, okay? And all we're gonna do here is on the 6 3/4 side, make sure it's a 6 3/4 at the top of the scoreboard, score at a 1/2 inch. Okay, And I'll show you how to put that on your base page. So, first what we're gonna do, I'm gonna move these Post-its. I'll keep them in order. Here we go. Okay, so also the way that I do this is when we score, this is what we call a valley on this side, and on the opposite side where it's a little raised, that's the mountain. And the way that you want to burnish is you want to fold onto that mountain, okay? Basically turn the valley into a mountain, if that makes any sense, and burnish it down, okay? If you happen to do it wrong, it's really not that, it's not, you know, a huge deal. It's just supposed to help break up the fibers a little bit more when you're working with your paper, I think. So, and there went my little Tim Holtz pokey tool. So I'm just folding and burnishing on all my score marks for these. All we have are 2 pieces here. Okay, and before I put them on the base page, I'm going to miter the corners, which we've gone over that before. Oh my God, what is my problem here? There we go. And then this is a pocket, and so here's how I like to miter it. At the top, I'm gonna miter both of them. But then where the score lines meet, my nails are horrible, but right in here, what I do is that little box, we're gonna cut it out, but we're gonna cut at an angle both ways. So we're gonna cut up to where they meet at an angle, and then down at an angle. So it should look like that, okay? Oops, on all of our pockets, that's how we'll do it on each side, okay? That's how I do it. All right, so now that we have both our pieces ready, here's what we're doing. So our base page, remember, we have an opening on either side. This is what's gonna connect. There's our hinge. So the page is gonna go like this, okay? For this page, we're gonna do a pocket at the bottom, and we're gonna do a flap that opens to the right, okay, to the right. So I'm gonna lay the pocket down first, and the way that I do it is I take the 2 ends, small ends like this. I use wet glue. If you're not using wet glue, it's, you know, you can just lay your tape down and put it down. But with wet glue, what I do is I put a little dab right here, and I fold over the bottom piece to just get it holding together like that, okay? Your live is done. Oh my goodness, Jan. Well, I'm glad you're back. And then I do it to the other side. Just a little dab. And now I'm just holding these ends. I may be a bit OCD, and I apologize. Basically, we need to fold these up, glue them, and put them down. But that's how I do it so that they don't get caught, you know, when you're trying to put it down. And then I just glue, you know, lay my glue down on all 3 sides. Okay? Now, remember, before you lay this down, you want your pocket, if you want your pocket at the bottom, make sure your opening is to your left and to your right, okay? And then go to the very bottom, put your piece down, and then you're going to want to burnish it. And I use Art Glitter Glue, and it's strong, and it does dry fast. So that's a good thing because you know, it doesn't take too long for this to dry. But I do go inside and burnish those little flaps down. There we go. Then on this piece, remember, we're going to put it, we want it to open, this is 1A, so the inside cover is going to be here. So we want this to open to the right, okay? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to glue it to the inside of this opening, to the top part of the inside of the opening. So what we need to do is we're going to put glue. Here's our flap. Let me make sure I explain this correctly. Here's our flap. I hope you can see this. We're going to put glue on the inside, not on the outside, if that makes any sense. Inside. And I'll show you. So I'm putting glue on the inside. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I open up, and on the right side, I want it to attach to the top, oh gosh, to the top of that opening. Let me just slide it in here. Like that. So I position it. I don't want to cover up my score line, so I'll fold it over and then I'll burnish it down. And then I'll open it and I'll also burnish on this side. And sometimes I have an extra little bit of glue. I'll just wipe that up. Okay, so page 1 on the A side is done, okay? We're gonna have a flap and we're gonna have a pocket. Now, before we put closures on, the order that I do is I put all my interactions onto my base pages. Then we can go through, I mean, if we decide we change our mind and we want to round the corners, or you can do that before, whatever, that's fine. Or if you want to put a decorative punch, you may want to do that prior to attaching it. If you forget, it's not a big deal. Lay it in your punch, you'll be fine, okay? Hi, Colorful Creations. Thanks for joining us. So page 1A is done. Perfect. Now we're going to do page 1B. And here's what we got for that. So we have we got 3 pieces for this one, okay? So let's roll through these. The first 2 pieces are both of them. We have a 5.5 by 4 and a 5.5 by 3, okay? 5.5 by 4, 5.5 by 3. We are going to score on the 5.5 inch side at a 1/2 inch. That's the only scoring we're going to do. These are going to be 2 little cute flaps. So on the 5.5 inch side, score at a 1/2 inch. Do it on this one as well. Oops, oh, I did it wrong. I did it on the 4 inch side. See, I already screwed up. Hold on a second. How was I? You know what? Let me think. Yeah, I did. I screwed up. I need to score this way. On the 5.5 inch side. Sorry about that. 5.5 inch side, score at a 1/2 inch. I'm not going to freak about it. It's going to be covered with design paper. 5.5 inch side, 1/2 inch. Okay? And again, make sure to fold on your score line, fold on the mountain, okay? On the mountain, if you remember. Burnish really well and miter both, all of your corners here. I'm totally confused here. Sorry, I have an extra score line. It's confusing me for some reason. Oh, here we go. Got it. All right. So those are those 2 pieces. And then the third piece, this is actually going to be used on page 1B. And it's also going to be used on page 2A. Because what we're going to do is you're going to take a 6 by 6. Cut your paper at 6 by 6. I know. Okay. Colorful Creations. So, and then we're going to cut it diagonally, okay? And then we're going to do some scoring on this because this is going to be a corner pocket. So let me show you how I do that. So, 6 by 6, okay? You're going to take your trimmer and you're going to lay it in like it's a diamond shape. And you want, this point and this point to be right on the line of where you trim. Okay, and then we'll cut it, and we have, 2 triangles, basically. So, one of these is going to be used on 1B, the other one's going to be used on 2A. I'll set the one for 2A aside. Here's how we score it. Let me get rid of some of these biddies. Okay, so put it up in your scoreboard just as a triangle, like this. You want to score at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then you want to face it, you rotate it 90 degrees, basically, and score at a 1/2 inch. So, but what you're looking for here is you want your triangle, the 2 legs to be scored at a 1/2 inch. They're going to meet down here. We're going to cut that. Okay? That, and this part we don't score on. All right, so let's fold on our, we got to trim a little bit differently on this. Once you, if you've never made these, once you get it, you'll get it. It's not hard. Okay, score, 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 burnish, burnish, burnish. All right, so what we're going to do is at the bottom, just like we did on our rectangle pocket, there's a little diamond or square right here that we need to cut out. But I come in from an angle and I go out at an angle. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then notice if we were to fold our ends together and put it down as a pocket, we got these crazy looking little extra part of a flap. So I go underneath and trim up to the score line. So on the back side, it's still at an angle where I cut it. If you can, make sure you can see that. So, but I just have to cut a deep enough angle, is what I'm trying to say, so that it doesn't show any of it at the top, okay? Now, let's put page 1B together and keep your other triangle for page 2A, okay? So, page 1, and one thing I've learned, maybe it's just me, but I always have to double check that, okay, this is the right direction. Here's my pocket. Turn it over. Because I have, in the past, just turned it over, put my other interactions on, and come to find out, and even my design paper, my pocket's upside down. So you want to just be careful of orientation. I'm just a reminder on that. Okay, so then turn it over, and we have 2 flaps and a corner pocket. This is 1B. Yeah, okay. Give me a second. So I want my 2 flaps are going to go on this side of the opening, like we did the last one where we put the glue on the inside. And for one of them, the other one I'll show you how to attach. We're going to have 2 flaps here, and we're going to have a corner pocket right here. Okay, so we'll put the flaps in first. The wider flap, the one that was 4 inches, take your glue and put it inside your little flap, not on the outside, and you're going to attach it just like we did the larger flap. Inside, right here. Line it up. Okay. And push it down. Burnish it really well. Now, this flap I purposely made where it's going to be kind of going over or under, either way you look at it, this other flap. So, you could either, well, you can't. I mean, I guess you could still glue it under, but what I'm going to do, what I like to do is I'm going to glue it right here, and part of it will be glued on top of this flap. Okay, so this one would open and then this one. I hope that makes sense. I'll just show you. So I'm putting glue not on the inside, but on this side of the little flappy thing, hinge, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm just going to glue it along the left-hand side at the edge, which part of it will go over that flap that we just attached. Okay? You want to burnish it, let your glue dry. Open it up, burnish it on the inside. So now you've got, oh no, I screwed up. Oh God, I'm off today, you guys. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have put it there. My bad. What was I thinking? You saw, don't do that. I should have done it with this flap open, then on the inside. I apologize for that. Let me redo that. I hope people watching the replay, I should make a note. Watch all the way through. You do not want to make my mistakes, but hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, right? So with this flap open, that's when you want to put this one down. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. But we can fix it. It's all fixed now. looks just fine. Okay, so those are our 2 flaps. 1, 2, okay? Again, if you want to do a pretty border die or something, you know, you might want to do it before you adhere it down. Or a punch. It's not the end of the world. You could do the punch after, or you can round corners after, but whatever's easiest for you. Now, here is our corner pocket. And what we're going to do is we're going to line it up on the bottom and on the right, like that. So you just need to put your glue down. Again, I like to put a little bit of glue right here and hold this down for just a minute to attach it. Give it under fun. Well, hi, Kim. I know, glue it under the flap. Kim, can you believe that? Hey, people just need to learn. I'm making an album, Kim. This is a, I'm doing Thursday Night Lives, and we started this not a couple days ago, the Thursday before, and we made our cover, chipboard cover. Today we did the hinge, and now we're doing, we also made the base pages. Now we're just doing the interactions. So I'm so glad you could join us, Kim. All right, so now we're going to, like I said, the bottom and the right is where you want to line this up. Okay? And you'll have a cute little corner pocket right there. Okay, make sure to burnish it real well. And I'm going to go inside and just kind of burnish those little flaps down too from the inside. Okay, so page 1 is done. So on the first side, we have a flap that's going to open to the right because the inside cover is going to be over here, and we have a pocket. And then when we turn the page over, we've got these 2 flaps and a corner pocket. And then when we move on to page 2 on the A side, remember we have one of these corner pockets. We're going to put that right here. So I think it'll look cute open as a spread like that. So let me move on to page 2A. Let me get those pieces. Okay. Kim, this is how you do it with the cute Post-it notes. And it's so organized. You're so good. This is why I had to do it this way. So page 2A. Oh, it's actually identical. Let me look at something really quick. What did I do? Sorry, guys. Let me look at one of my notes. Because I think that's what I did. I think oops. Yeah. So page 2A is identical to 1B. And the reason I did that is I thought it would look cool as a spread to have double flaps on either side with corner pockets here. So it's really easy. It's exactly what we just did. So we'll just fly through that. That's 2B. Okay, good. So on the 5.5-inch side, don't screw up like I did on the last one. Score at 1/2 inch. And again, on the 5.5-inch side, score at 1/2 inch. You're funny, Kim. Okay, then our pocket. Remember, we're going to line it up where it's on the left and right, like a triangle in the corner. Score it a 1/2 inch. Rotate it to the left 90 degrees. Okay, that's how I do it. Score it. Basically, you just want those 2 sides to be scored at a 1/2 inch. All right. So easy peasy. The only difference here, remember, is with your you know, your opening, you're going to be now putting your flaps on the right hand side, okay? And the pocket will go over here. So let's burnish our, fold over and burnish on our score lines. Okay, and then we're just gonna, exactly like we did before, just miter the corners. I just have stuff all over the place, don't I? So for everyone on here, Kim from Kim Can't Stop Crafting is one of the people that I mention a lot, because when I very first started mini albums, that is who I learned from. I learned from her and LMS Crafty, which is Lori, I believe is her name. Those were the two main ones I learned from. A couple of Ginger from My Sister's Scrapper. I watched a few of hers. But anyway, yeah, so awesome. Kim, I'm glad you're here. You're a good teacher, Kim. Well, you actually are a teacher. Okay, gonna slide this in. I'm gonna do it right this time. Oh my God, I already messed up again. What am I doing? I glued it on the wrong side. Sorry, guys. See? Jeez. I put the glue on the wrong side. We need to put it here. There we go. Okay. I don't know what my problem is today. It's because I'm doing it in front of people, probably, huh? I don't know. I usually don't have a problem with that, but there we go. Burnish it real well. Okay, now we just have our pocket. Kim, do you watch Ginger too? I know Jan was just, she made something recently that she kind of did her own thing, but she was inspired by something that Ginger did. I know. Sassy, exactly. Kim, you met Ginger? You know, I hear that she's done some things for Country Craft Creations. Did you meet her through something like that? I bet she's very nice in person. Okay, I'm just gonna glue this corner pocket, bottom and left-hand side line up. And then just burnish it down really well. She's a hoot. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's neat. She seems really nice, and she's very talented. Okay. So there's 2B. So you'll see, you know, we got the 1A, right, with our pocket and flap. This is what I liked. When you turn it over, I like that we have to, it's kind of a mirror image. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought that was fun. So there's 2B, or 1A, 1B, 2A. We're going to do 2B. And then, let's see, how long have we been on? I can't even tell. I think it's been a little while. And the reason I say that, we're going to finish up 2B, and I'll probably have to turn the live off. But we did get a lot accomplished. We covered the inside of the book. We made the whole hinge system, which that's kind of its own little thing. And we're on to the 4th page, if you think about it, out of 10 pages, because there's 5. 1 on each side. So let's do 2B. I haven't cooked my husband dinner. That's really the long and short of it. I need to feed my man. Okay, so for 2B, we're gonna have a piece that's 7 1/4 by 3 1/2. It's gonna be a pocket again. So we're gonna score at 1/2 and 6 3/4 on the 7 1/4 side. We're gonna turn it on the 3-inch side and score it 1/2 inch. Then we're gonna have, I'm sorry, that's this one. Because then we're gonna have 7¼ by 3. And then we're going to do the same thing. Hold on a second. Let me think. Again, let me look at my notes. I think we're doing a double pocket. And if so, one of these score marks is wrong. So let me just double check. Page 2B. Double pocket. Yeah. So score on 7/4, 1/2, and 6. Yeah. Let me just make a quick adjustment on my Post-it note. I made a little bit of a boo-boo. I'm glad I caught that on the scoring. So 7¼ by 3. We only want to score. We don't want to do this. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Okay. Let me redo this. All right. So basically what we're doing is we're going to take these two pieces and we're going to make a double pocket. So on this one, we don't want to score at the bottom, okay? Because that way you'll have this pocket and this one will be deeper. We only score at the bottom on this larger one. I hope that makes sense. So let me go over it. The 7¼ by 4. On the 7¼ side, score at 1/2 inch and at 6¾ rotate 90 degrees so that you're at the 3½ inch side, score at 1/2 inch, okay? Then on the 7¼ by 3, you'll still score on the 7¼ inch side at 1/2 and at 6¾ but we do not need to turn and score at the bottom, okay? And I'll show you how this goes in there. So let's fold on our score lines and burnish. No kidding. I need to drink. I have some iced tea here. I know I'm thirsty. You're right. It's a lot. It's about an hour. Well, we're just going to finish this side. And then, like I said, I might come on tomorrow if I can for a little bit. Otherwise, for sure, on Thursday to do more. Okay. So let's get our base page ready. So yeah, this was 2A. So fold it or turn it over correctly for 2B. I'm going to miter these corners real quick, just like we have. Okay. And I'm doing the bottom of the pocket, double pocket first. The one that has the bottom score mark. Okay. And like I've done on the previous pockets, I like to put a piece of glue there, hold it for just a second, put a little bit of glue on this side, and then I like to hold them down for just a minute, and then I can put glue on all 3 sides. Oh, well, thank you, Patty. I appreciate you stopping by. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and put glue on all 3 sides. And I want that, now make sure your paper or your orientation is correct. I want this at the very bottom is where I'm choosing. I made a mistake. Well, I think, hold on a second. Now we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We will be all right, people. Okay. Get that out of the way. Make sure I lined this up right. Didn't feel like it. All right, and then burnish it down. I know Kim's going, Mary Beth, you screwed up. You screwed up. Because, but I still think it'll work. I'm going to put this other piece where we did not score at the bottom. We just have scored on the sides here. I got to miter the corners. But I'm going to glue that down right here, and it'll still work. So basically, we'll have a pocket here, and then this will also be a pocket, but it'll be deep. I hope that makes sense. So let me miter the corners real quick here. glue. Yeah. Okay. Let me just line this up. I'm sorry, I gotta pull it closer for just a second. I'm okay with it. Now, what I want to say for the replay, okay, because this is probably what I should have done, is I probably should have put this piece down first that does not have the score at the bottom, and then put the one with the score at the bottom, like, so that it's a little bit over that piece, okay? So that's what I would suggest to do. Again, put the piece down that does not have the bottom score mark first, then put this piece down. I just think that would have been a little easier, because now my double, I'm going to probably have to do some fixing on it is what I'm saying, and I'll do that. But my apologies for screwing that up. God, I'm screwing all kinds of things up. But look, we accomplished a lot. We got our hinge system done. Yay. Yeah, show me, Kim. So that was good. We got that completed. And we technically got 4 pages done. We got 1A, flap in a pocket. Again, feel free to, use a die or a border punch or whatever you want to do. You can round corners, however you want to do that. And then when you turn it over, we have double flaps and a corner pocket. And on 2A, double flaps, corner pocket, turn it over, and a double pocket that I'll kind of fix. I screwed it up a little bit. Again, I explained what you should do instead. So that's where we're at. If I don't go live, before Thursday, for sure Thursday will be my next live. But I will try to, so that we can at least get through the rest of the base pages. Because had we not did this, we probably would have gotten through all of them. So, and then the real fun starts, where we get to mat and decorate and add them into our book. So I just want to thank all of you guys for supporting my channel and joining me tonight on this live. And I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.